So this is Lauren Steiner back with you here at the Left Forum in downtown Los Angeles at LA Trade Tech. This is the first time that the venerable Left Forum, which has always been held in New York, is being held in Los Angeles. And it was organized by my friends Dick and Sharon from the LA Progressive. You can pass by. You're not going to be on camera. I'm here right now with Laura Wells, who I have known about for a long time and probably voted for you. And she is a Green Party spokesperson for the California Green Party. How you doing today?
I'm doing fine.
Great.
I'm really glad to be down here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Laura was also a candidate. She ran in 2010 for governor, and that's when I think I voted for her. And she also ran in 2014 for state treasurer or controller? Controller. And Ellen Brown, who you know, is a great friend of mine and the leader of the public banking movement nationwide, ran as treasurer. Okay, so tell us about that race.
Well, that was interesting that we had, it was top two primary, which means that all the Democrats, Republicans, Greens, Libertarians, Peace and Freedom all run together in the primary in June 2014. And Ellen was running for treasurer, and she was in a race with three candidates. And I knew that she was going to get a good percentage, given that we have a two-party system, a bought and paid for two-party system in this country. She got 6.6%, which was really great for treasurer. I was surprised, actually, that as in my run for controller, and it was a six-way race with like three Democrats, two Republicans, and me, that I got 5.7% of the vote. And this was in June 2014. A lot of people didn't realize that with the top two primary, that virtually kills off choice in November, where there are sometimes two Democrats, sometimes two Republicans, and very often one Democrat, one Republican. But what that showed to me was that people were very interested in public banking. And the fantasy I have is that they liked the idea of two women, Ellen Brown and Laura Wells, running the money in California. I really think we could do a much better job than has been happening.
Yeah, that's really funny, too, because when I was married, I've always been bad in math. And my ex-husband was always better in math, and I sort of left him in charge of the finances. Little did I know that it really has nothing to do with math.
Values.
When we separated, okay, I found that he was still on the adjustable mortgage that we had when we bought our house, and it had gone all the way up to, this was in 2000, 8%. And had he refinanced in 1998 like everybody else, we could have fixed it at 6%. I mean, that's still high. But anyway, the point is they're not on top of things, you know. These men are not on top of things, whereas we women, we take things very seriously, whatever our job is. I find that women are just much more diligent, right?
I think that might have been a factor, you know, with public banking. And then also my platform as controller was tax the rich, because I like what somebody who ran for mayor once for San Francisco, it's added the little duh, but tax the rich. Tax the rich so that they don't have so much power, and so that we have money for things like libraries and health care and schools.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of that, were you advocating, because right now there's a big move and they're going to probably try to get it on the ballot in 2018, were you advocating closing the commercial property tax loophole?
Absolutely. Fix Prop 13, and it's take the good part. Keep people in their homes. We can do a much better job at keeping people in their homes than we have since Prop 13 came in. But fix the problems that have caused California to take this long, slow downhill from where it used to have the education system that the entire world, you know, was a prototype for the world, and now we spend per pupil as something like Mississippi, you know, second from the bottom. So Prop 13 helped a lot of people, and it has overall hurt a lot of people. What the move right now is, and is led by a lot of young people, a lot of young people are working on the coalition to address Prop 13. Interesting, because it was before they were even born, but they get it.
Yeah.
They get the problem. But they're focusing particularly on the commercial property, which has not been reassessed all this time. So Disneyland and Chevron, you know, they have all these properties where they pay very few cents on the dollar compared to residents, particularly compared to new first-time home buyers.
Right. Well, as always, the corporations are making out like bandits, and we, the people, are getting screwed. So I just want to speak about that's the Make It Fair California Coalition, and tomorrow on my panel, 9 a.m., you can come down here if you live in Los Angeles, LA Trade Tech. I'm doing a panel on how progressives are organizing in California, and one of my panelists is going to be Alberto Rentana with the Community Coalition, and he's also a very active, if not lead, member of the Make It Fair. And so he's going to be talking about how we organize as coalitions. Karen Bernal is going to be talking about how the Progressive Caucus within the Democratic Party is going to be organizing. And Cody Pedersen is running Doug Applegate's campaign. He's a Vietnam vet, and he is running as a progressive Democrat opposite Mike Levin down in San Diego, who is the establishment Democrat endorsed by the DCCC. Turns out the guy's like a fossil fuel lobbyist, and this is who the Democratic Party is pushing against this progressive Doug Applegate. And also Megan Choi from Ground Game, which is a very hyper-local group, came out of the Jessica Salins for City Council campaign, and they're organizing in CD 15 here in Hollywood. So getting back to Laura and the Green Party, tell us what the Green Party's been up to since the 2016 election.
Well, a lot of people, even before before November, people took what they called the Dem exit, because they saw what happened on the inside of the Democratic Party. They got a master's degree in two-party politics, and what had happened to Bernie Sanders during the primary and how he got derailed. And a number of them, some fabulous organizers. I'll tell you, among the millennials, there are some terrific organizers, and I mean that in the sense that they have far less there's a future millennial. They have far less of racism, sexism, and classism, and homophobism, and all of that. Good ideas come from all people.
Hold on a second. Even with a directional microphone, there's certain things that are going to be louder. Is that Carolyn Fowler? How you doing? Okay, so back to my interview with Laura Wells, folks. This will be edited before it goes on YouTube. Yes, so some of these candidates you're talking about, I'm going to name them because I know them. Kenneth Mejia, right. Angelica Duenas, yeah. Miguel Zuniga. Who else do you want to highlight?
Well, there are other people who are organizing internally. Well, Josh Jones is going to be running as a gubernatorial candidate, and he's from Yolo County, which is where Davis is. But also within the Green Party, we had gotten to where the General Assemblies, the state meetings, had 45 people in San Francisco in June 2016. Okay, March 2017, 100 people. And then June 2017, another 100 people. The committees are starting to roll again. And everything is getting in. And we had, of the active counties, there are 58 counties in California, and we had 21 active Green Party counties. Now we have 33 within a year. All of that has happened. So we've been doubling, and some of us old timers, the people who've been around for a long time, are working very diligently to make the Green Party of California a very welcoming party, so that people have someplace to go when they don't want the billionaire class to run this country, and they don't want the corporations, the billionaires and their corporations. And the Green Party has never taken corporate money, which is a signpost for saying that we are on the side of the people. And when we get elected, and we do, as in Richmond and hundreds of places around the country, when we get elected, we are not tempted by these people who have given us money and who are then our bosses, which is what has happened to the standard Democrat, the conventional Democrat.
Yeah, but let me ask you this, because Miguel told me that the Greens are a little pissed off that Gail is not running as a Green. Gail McLaughlin, who's running for lieutenant governor, is no party preference. Is that truth or fake news?
There are some people who are there's a continuum of them, but there are a number of counties who are, as a county, endorsing Gail McLaughlin's campaign for lieutenant governor. And so a lot of us are totally behind her. We wish she had run as Green. She's not. She has not switched parties. She's running as an independent. And we all have the same goal, actually. And the goal is to have it be to where people's values, which are essentially the Green Party values, not just the environment, but which is extremely important, but social justice and grassroots democracy and nonviolence, peace, health care, things like that. Gail is very much on the side of that. Gail and her campaign manager are very much in wanting the Green Party to be as strong as it can possibly be. She feels that in order to send her to do the thing that she wants to do now, which is to partly to spread progressive alliances, what has beaten Chevron in the city of Richmond, to spread the word about that around the state, to have a state platform for no corporate money and for combining electoral politics with community organizing. Stay in the streets, stay organizing, stay with the issue that calls to your heart, and go for being at the table.
Yes. Now, I'd like to tell my viewers that I did a fundraiser for Gail McLaughlin. Full disclosure, I endorsed her, and I think she's awesome. And you can go to my YouTube channel, Lauren from LA on YouTube, and find Gail's speech and all the questions and answers. It's a little bit under an hour, but it's well worth listening to. Now, who's watching? Hey, Gail. All right, so we're going to, hi, Heather. We're going to be going in. Francis, can you see if this panel is anywhere near to starting or if it's the other panel that is? I'm going to edit this, don't worry. Is that Cliff Smith's panel in there? Do you know if that's? Okay, Francis, can you go in and see if Cliff Smith's panel has started? Somebody, please. All right. Can you see if it's Cliff Smith? Hold on a second. I'm going to give you the mic, and you can, while I check myself, because I know what Cliff looks like. Laura, my next question to you is, can you talk about the Progressive Independent Party, Araquel Blas, Draft Bernie Party, and the conversations that we've been having about working as a coalition and endorsing candidates, no matter what party they are, banding together all these different parties, including the Justice Party, and endorsing the candidate that is the most progressive. Why don't you talk about that while I check?
Okay, I'll say, well, hello, Gail. The key is who gives them money? Where do they get their money? Where do they get their funding? Because when you get paid by the billionaires and the corporations, they become your bosses. So endorsing, to me, that's the key critical thing is are people running without corporate money? And if so, then they're potentially endorsable. If they are running, taking developer money at the city level, corporate money, business money, all of that stuff, then you can't trust them when they get in. They'll say what you want to say, what you want to hear in order for you to vote for them, but they will not do what you want them to do when they get in office.
Okay, great. Thank you. That was Laura Wells, Green Party spokesman for the state of California. We are now, without pausing, going to go in and cover this panel.